Drago,
What's up, baby?
you going with the NWO today, huh?
NWO, man. That
Who
was
is your
my childhood.
favorite? Who is your favorite Wolfpack member?
My Razor Ramon. And
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon, the bad guy.
Uh, he passed, didn't he?
He actually passed from addiction.
From addiction. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
saw
is.
a bunch about him and DDP, and they were trying to get him straight. I know
They
Kevin
did.
Nash.
Yeah, they did get him straight for a minute. So he did pay with sober when he passed, but I think he had passed because he had done so much damage with the booze for 900 years.
Booze and opioids, wasn't it?
Booze and Opie Scott Hall, man. Yeah, that dude was a
Yeah.
badass. They did the same thing for dude, DDP Diamond Dallas Page has that yoga thing. He's got Lex Luger. Lex Luger, the big huge buff dude. Remember him back in the day? Dude, that dude's in a wheelchair. He's got him
Yeah.
like up and down. That dude had a horrible, horrible opioid problem. Uh, oh my God. What was Macho Man's wife?
Miss Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth. He killed Miss Elizabeth. He gave her opioids and she OD'd.
She OD'd.
She
Yep.
OD'd, yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable, right?
And then they did the same thing for Jake the Snake Roberts. He was like a straight freaking crackhead, and they brought him out of the freaking wilderness and they made him good. And that dude's sober too. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake got his life back together. It's been
Yeah.
awesome to see.
There's actually a really good documentary with Diamond Dallas Page with Jake the Snake. It's super good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 45.
45, baby. Let's go. 45, man. Killing it,
Michael
dude.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, number 45. Let's go.
Remember the who was the player? I think you were talking about it earlier. He was on the Washington Bullets. Bradley Smith, I think was his name.
Yep.
And he had a game on Jordan at Chicago. And then they
Yep.
turned around the next night, had to play him again. And he made the comment, hey, 45 is not 23.
Not 23, baby.
And
Yeah.
Jordan came back out with 23 on. And
With 23, which to be fair, they end up it was against the Orlando Magic, but
oh, was
that
it?
never they lost. That was they lost, but he said all he did in the documentary, all he did that whole year, dude, he's like, I'm jacking that dude up. And then they swept the Magic the next
Yeah,
year. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
dude,
You did
savage.
not need to throw fuel on his fire.
Man,
Pedro Martinez.
Pedro Martinez.
What's your favorite Pedro memory?
My favorite Pedro memory. Oh my goodness. When he threw Don Zimmerman on the ground.
That's what I was thinking. Iconic moment in Devon Mitchell. Yeah, I'm not really into him. Rick Smits, the dunking Dutchman.
The Dunking Dutchman. Is no Nolan Ryan didn't wear 45?
No, no, at least not on here. Check it out. My fellow Iowan, Rafe LaFrance. You remember Rafe LaFrance?
No, I don't.
Yeah, played for the Nuggets and the Mavericks. Sean Bradley, the 7'6" center.
Okay.
And Ernie Davis, the Express from
The ex-
Syracuse.
the Express. That dude, that's like from the 50s, man, right?
That's a book, or that's a book and a movie. You seen that movie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Him and Jim Brown in the same backfield.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
cancer.
yeah. Right
Well,
away, right?
man, we're
He died
talking
right.
about having fun after recovery, right? So I always
Yeah.
come out with the four F's, and how I recovered was faith, fitness, fellowship, and then fun. And I did them in that order. I needed my faith and needed to get right with God. Then I needed to get fill my time that I was doing bad things with positive things, which was fitness. So I filled that time with fitness, right? Then it was fellowship and getting in an NA program and telling some of my closest friends about the problems I had. And then, last and certainly not least was how to have fun again. How to
Yeah.
have fun again, right? And I just went through something yesterday. I lost a friend. It was 15 years ago now. It's how my wife and I met. And him and I were both struggling with some with addiction at the time, right? And that was part of what just made me just know that I needed help and needed to lean on others and surrender to a process and to God, that my ego could not do this on its own, and I was
Yep.
not strong enough to just white knuckle it,
Yeah.
right? So, that I went through that and got the help I needed and met Kristen. Unfortunately, he passed. We always try and honor his memory because I don't think our family would be together if my wife and I wouldn't have met because she was close friends with him too. And we knew
Oh, so
each
you
other.
actually met at the funeral for a friend that
Yeah, well, I mean,
passed.
not met, we knew each other, but
Got it. Okay.
that's a little bit after that's when the sparks started flying, right? And
That's
I
wild.
found that I could be worthy of having a family and get my stuff together to be a good husband and a good father because that's what I was looking for. So, yeah,
You manifested it.
15 years yesterday.
Wow.
15 years yesterday. So,
What was that? Was this a male or female?
yeah, it's male, my good friend Josh. So
Gosh.
we call him J2K. So, rest in peace, buddy. Think about you every day.
Yeah.
Um,
2K.
so that year was 2010. That's when I was pretty solid in my recovery and going to NA and started dating Kristen. But towards the end of that year, I had figured out my faith, I had figured out my fitness, I had my program and my meetings and a process, and then I figured out kind of how to have fun again, right?
Cool.
And the truth is, Kristen didn't know really what I had been through, right? I hid a lot of that,
Yeah.
right?
We
Um,
we only same thing with my wife, man. Like we only shared what we wanted them to know.
yep, that's right. So, how did you have fun and when could you have fun after you started to recover?
Well, for me, I mean, I was married, right? So, and this is still something that I struggle with a little bit having fun. I mean, I'm all for having fun. I always love having a good time. I think for me, going back to places where I just wasn't a good person just makes me feel uncomfortable. Not that I don't have fun. Like, for
Yeah,
example, going back to my parents' house, and sorry, mom, if you're watching this, but like going back to my childhood home and, where I, started my addiction and all that bad trauma, like,
yeah,
I'm saying? Just I'm good. I go there, we're good. And then it just always ends up being like an uncomfortable feeling for me, which, that's the type of stuff I'm still kind of working through. But
yeah,
I think for me it was I really grasp, like, I love spending time with my wife. Like, she's my best friend, right? So like really being intentional on spending time and going out and doing stuff where I wasn't out putting myself in situations where I could potentially do drugs. And for me, like, it was hard. Like, I didn't have a wallet for a long time. I
you didn't
didn't
have
carry
a what?
cash. I didn't have a wallet and I didn't carry any cash. So like, I, I had to bring my wife with me everywhere I went because if I didn't go, I didn't have any money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you put that's a guardrail, right? You
Yeah.
have put guardrails in your life with your money. We've talked about this and you've shared this a little bit of not having access to the money
Yeah.
in fear of reverting back to your addiction and those habits, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say it's similar for me. Like I learned how to have fun with Kristen and um I just knew that I didn't want to mess up that relationship, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
I stumbled a couple times after her and I were together, but mostly I and she helped. She's like, I remember one party where some of my old friends that were still using it was like around New Year's. And she's like, your friends are sketchy. You need to get them out of your life. They were going in the bathroom and blasting lines and doing all
Yeah.
that stuff, right? And she was getting ready to move in. She's like, those people are not going to be in this house if I'm going to move in, right?
Yeah.
And I was to the point where, I could resist that and not use, but yeah, I was just being with her and going out with her and always having her by my side
Mhm.
that I knew I could even see the people and be around people that were using it and still not use.
Yeah, for sure. And like I feel like your drug of choice was a lot more social type of drug of choice, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Like for me, opioids, like I did opioids and I hung up on myself. But I had many relationships in the past with women where, I was on opioids and I thought that was making me a better person. And like for me, like I didn't want to, I don't want to die. Right. So like I can't do that anymore. But leaning into, not having fun with my wife and learning like what actual fun was being sober and like feeling all the things, right? Because I
Yeah.
never wanted to feel all the things. I just wanted to like be numb to everything and not have to deal with that
Yeah.
was tough for me.
Yeah. I think that, for me, it was getting honest with my friends that I had a problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To knowing who I could have fun with and who wasn't going to pressure me to use. Three, knowing the people that would use and would probably press me or pressure me to use again, just eliminating those people
For sure.
from my life, really, right? I
Yeah.
actually got a really nasty DM from one of them the other day. He was just tearing into me and like saying all this stuff about we used to be boys and now you're this big hot shot and I see you on your podcast. You're no better than me and saying all this stuff. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Damn, bro.
Right. So
Say a prayer for that, dude.
yeah, and
Real
I
shit.
just said, hey, man, I had such a weakness, and I hope you've overcome yours. That I just couldn't be around any of the people I used to use with, and I apologize. My weakness affected our friendship.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they say in recovery? We have an allergy to our drug of choice, which just is tough. But like I still like even going and seeing my parents, like I just for whatever reason, I just like being in Orange County and being in that area, like I don't even really talk. I mean, I still have close friends there, like my core group of people my core group of people, like because I lived there my whole life, like I never used with those people. Like I didn't start doing drugs until I was older. So like I don't have any of those past people that I intermingled with, but I still just, I'm
Right.
like, oh man, I remember I stole a bunch of money from over there and I went, oh yeah, that's the bank I went and forged a fake check. And like, so
Yeah.
it, it,
Yeah, and
it,
it's
it
nothing to do with your parents, I would imagine. I would imagine it's just shame for,
yeah.
and regret for those times, and it's a trigger, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. So like the cycle of addiction is the trigger. So now that I've learned, like by being sponsored again, is you kill a trigger with a thought. So like I'm rather than so what I would do is I would like spiral into like, oh, pity me, and wow, that I used to do that. And so rather than like get into that spiral, I cut it off. I make the conscious choice to not feed into that trigger, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
And so for me it's like asking a question to my wife real quick. Like I like now that I've identified what that trigger is, I can pivot from that and I could stop that thinking by just asking my wife a specific question, which is super awesome.
That's
Did you,
what
did you like I listen, I went everywhere high, like so like going to like bars and like sporting events. Like that took me a little while to like be like, oh, I'm coming here sober. That's kind of weird. Like, because you go there for so long and you're doing those things, but like really the only like did it take you a minute to feel because I would what am I trying to say? I would like just not go to stuff. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't want to go do that because I'm gonna feel
yeah.
weird. Like, so what did that
Without Kristen, yes. With Kristen, no.
yeah, same experience with my wife. If my wife's coming with me, I'm good. Let's roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was more weakness of not wanting to revert back, right?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and yeah, it was just really, I had confided a bit in her. I don't wasn't super transparent. When you're in love and you have a new person in your life, you want to say, hey, like, here's all my baggage, right?
No.
I just had $330,000 of debt I paid off and failed mortgage business that I had started, mortgage company, and by the way, I'm a cocaine addict and
Yeah.
in treatment.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
move in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Same with my wife. Hey, by the way, we're getting married. I just forgot to let you know, like Nevada's a community property state, so I've got like $100,000 of back taxes I got to pay. So,
Yeah,
ha,
yeah.
congrats.
Is that, did you say yes? Is that how you proposed?
No, 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 no. I actually asked her dad at the
Yeah,
river, bro. Yeah,
me too.
yeah,
Well, I hope this helps people. Drago and I just want to be two people you look at that inspire you that you can have a life after recovery and you can be at a low point. You can overcome it. You can surround yourself with good people. You can find a community that will help you. And every once in a while, my drug charges, my criminal background check, it trips me up once in a while on some opportunities, but it's super rare, right? I mean, and that was 15, 20 years ago, and it does take time, but there are jobs, both Drago and I are mortgage lenders. There are jobs you can get with a checkered past. There are people that have recovered and look for people like you if you're struggling to want to help, right? I've hired people that have come out of treatment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Um, and just know that your rock bottom doesn't have to define you.
for sure. And I think me and you are trying to do the same thing. Like, we're just trying to be the guys that we needed when we were at our lowest point.
That's right. That's all it's about. So
Yeah.
we got a couple exciting guests coming up. We hope you enjoyed today. Share us, download us, um, DM us if you know someone struggling. I had some great conversations last week. I thought Dave was on fire last week.
Oh
Go back
yeah,
and
dude.
check out our episode.
Yeah, Vegas stronger. To be honest, like, after this podcast, I got a call with somebody that reached out that's having some problems with alcohol, and my first call was Dave, and because it sounded like they need to immediately get into some detox, and he said, make the phone call and call me, and we'll get it handled.
Yeah. That's type
Like,
of people we
yeah.
have at our disposal. So if you know somebody struggling, if you need to know how to do an intervention, we have Dave that can help that with that. If you know someone that just needs to have a vulnerable, honest reflection with themselves, we're happy to jump on a call. Any final thoughts, Drago?
I think, listen, I say this every episode. Like, if you're thinking about getting into recovery, if you're thinking about talking about getting sober or anything, I'd much rather take a phone call from you at 3 o'clock in the morning than have to go to your funeral, right? So, like, we are always available. Me and Chad put our personal mobiles the chat feed. Like, not doing this to try to get famous. I'm doing this because this is what fills up our cup, and we're just trying to be of service because this is what keeps us sober. So if you're thinking about, reach out. No judgment. We got you. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate you listening. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you share us. We're changing everything. We're coming through with an actual website. We're gonna do all our social media with Third Chance Podcast. So it's not through the Vegas Mortgage Dude and Lubin Loans. So watch out. We're starting to get more people
We're
wanting to
getting
come on the show.
we're getting legit.
We're getting legit. So love you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch us today. And if you need us, we're always available.
Love you, bud.
Love you. Later, dude.